Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to this technical webinar on Partner Build Fiori App Certification. My name is Srinivas Chintaginjalu and I work for SAP Integration and Certification Center. Let me give you a brief introduction to today's agenda. We'll start with a brief speaker's introduction. Then we will have a quick overview on SAP Fiori applications. Then I will jump into SAP Fiori architecture. What is Fiori about? What sort of components are involved in a Fiori app development? And what you develop when you are actually developing a Fiori app. And then I'm going to introduce you to a new tool called SAP Web IDE, which is a brand new tool released by SAP. We'll talk a little bit about how SAP Web IDE can be used for SAP Fiori apps. And then finally, I'm going to jump into SAP Fiori app certification. And after this, you will have a chance to ask questions and we'll have a Q&A round. So let me start by my introduction. So as I mentioned earlier, my name is Srinivas Chintaginjalu. I work as an integration consultant at Integration and Certification Center. At ICC, I'm responsible for working with partners, supporting them to build integrations with our SAP applications using standard SAP technologies or to build applications on top of our SAP platform, namely SAP HANA, Fiori, and Gateway, SAP Mobile Platform, NetWeaver components, etc. and etc. So I'm responsible for the entire technology stack, which is your HANA, Fiori, Gateway, NetWeaver, BW. So any of these technologies, if you're using them, probably you'll be working with me in future. With this, let me quickly jump into SAP Fiori overview. Before we talk about SAP Fiori, let's step back a bit and go back to 2006, 2007. How things have changed in the world. If you remember in 2007 when Apple introduced iPhone, it actually changed the way end users experience any application. So people started using iPhone and other smart devices to complete or to perform their business transactions or to do their daily household tasks. So basically, consumerization has redefined how an user uses a particular application or consumes a business transaction. So now if you compare consumer apps and consumers experience with enterprise grade applications, you could see there's a big difference in the way how these business transactions are exposed to the business users. So now companies started thinking like how can they transform their enterprise experience so that all these complex and feature-rich functionalities can be easily consumed by business user within simple and intuitive apps that can be accessed from any device, any platform, and anywhere. So with that in mind, SAP has redefined or transformed their user experience for the business transactions or business functionality. So if you look at our traditional SAP applications, this is how SAP user experience was. It was not easy to use. It was feature rich. It had just too many fields, irrespective of whether the business user needs it or not. Uh, it was not coherent. It could be accessed only within a business network or within your office environment. You required VPN and things like that. It was too complicated and it was not very intuitive for business users. So as I said, to just to make the business transactions easier, to make the user experience easier, SAP introduced SAP Fiori. And how did we do it? So we started with design thinking. So SAP started using design thinking in while developing any application. So what is design thinking? Design thinking stands for design specific cognitive activities that designer applied during process of designing or during the process of you know of creating the UI. So design thinking is a mindset backed by suite of tools that gives a new dimension to solve problems and to unlock potentials. At SAP, it complements our existing approaches by focusing on the human side of things and what our technology is and what the technology means to you and to your customers. So what we do is we look at viability, that is your business aspects. We look at desirability, which is the human values, like what does the end user want, and we look at the feasibility. So that means we look at what are the existing technologies that we have at our hand, and we actually combine these three aspects and then find a sweet spot for innovation. And this innovation is SAP Fiori. Now, let's get into actual topic, SAP Fiori. What is SAP Fiori? So SAP Fiori is the new user experience or the new user interaction for SAP software. It applies modern design principles for completely reimaged and redesigned user experience. SAP Fiori UX or user experience represents a personalized, responsive, and simple user experience across devices and deployment options. So Fiori is a collection of apps with simple and easy to use experience for broadly and widely used SAP software or SAP business transactions. And these applications work seamlessly across all devices. So it could be your this could be your desktop, or this could be your tablet, or this could be smartphone. And these applications run anywhere. So that means, yeah, whether you are in a restaurant, or whether you are in an airport, or whether you are at home, or whether you're at office, you can complete a business transaction with ease and without logging to your business network or VPN. It enables our customers to leverage their existing SAP infrastructure, SAP investment by providing instant value to all of their employees without any disruption. So what are the SAP's, different UI design principles that we use? So SAP Fiori user experience follows five basic design philosophies. First one is role based. So whenever you're developing a Fury app, you have to keep in mind that these Fury applications are designed for your needs or designed for you, your needs, and how you want to work. So that means all of the Fury app that you develop has to think of the business user, and it has to you will have to decompose your application so that you deliver what is needed and what is required. So you have to think of yourself as a business user and design this UI. If you are a manager, let's say if you have a manager role, then you have to think of what does a manager need, and you have to decompose this application so that you provide only those details. The second philosophy is a responsiveness. That means designed and developed for a consistent experience on many devices. So that means you have to support how and where you work and at any time. So it has to, your application has to support multiple form factors. So that means whether this app runs on phone, tablet, or desktop, you have to think about it. You have to design it for multiple interaction styles. So it could be a touch screen, or a keyboard. Then it must support multiple technologies and multiple platforms like iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, or PC. And it is a single code line, so that means you don't have to develop a code specific to one particular platform or one particular design. You code once and use it on multiple devices and multiple platforms. The third philosophy that is required or that you use for Fiori apps is simple or simplicity. You have to focus on the user experience, outcomes, or features and functions. So you have to make sure here, more than the features and functionality, user experience is more important, and it has to be simple. Focus on what's important. So one of the suggestions we have, one of the philosophy we use here is 113. That means one use case, one user, and maximum of three screens per app. So make the important things really easy to use and learn, and little apps combined into a swamp of functionality. Coherent. So coherent assortment of apps that speak the same language. So apps that feel familiar by embracing the best practices, purposeful effects, and intelligent visualization. Coherent is essence. Design information is important, and it has to come as first priority. Balance consistencies and best fit the use case. You have to provide one fluid and intuitive experience to your business users. And finally, delightful. Why we say delightful? Because you have to always make sure the business user makes an emotional connection with the application, and they have to be compelled to come back and reuse it. There's no point developing an app which is live, which will be used only once by the user. So that means you have to make sure that your user wants to reuse this app more often. So that means it has to be easy to adopt. That means no frequent upgrades, workaround releases with largest install base on SAP releases and SAP HANA releases. Most broadly used and frequently used scenarios must be used. And easy to deploy, no footprint or little admin is required, easy to introduce. I mean, when a user starts using a Fiori app, they should not require any additional training to use. And easy to grow. When you develop these small apps, it's easy to grow and easy to, provide a huge portfolio of business applications to your customers. So it will be possible for SAP and SAP partners to provide this to the customers. Now let's look more into Fiori role-based experience for top task, and what do we mean by it. So if you look at applications today, especially SAP applications today, there's one transaction for multiple roles and multiple users, exposing all data and functions to all users. This is not required. I mean, some users will need only two fields in a particular sorry, user will require only two fields or two functionalities in a particular in a business transaction. Maybe other users might need all the functionalities that are provided, but still we deliver it with our transactions. This is not required with Fury. This changes. What we do here is we decompose the application for each role, exposing only relevant data or data that is required for this particular business user. So that means your application must be role based and you have to decompose each and every application. And also one of the challenges we have is we have multiple entry points for our users and for every transaction. And these entry points are inconsistent and they have different user experience whether you use ERP or CRM. So, for example, if you look at business partner transaction in ERP and business partner transaction in CRM, there are two different entry points. The screens look totally different, and it's not consistent. So the user gets really frustrated to use these transactions in multiple screens and multiple systems. So how do we address this? So with Fiori, there's a single point of entry or one point of entry for all the users and and the user experiences follow common design direction. So how do we achieve this? We do this via SAP Fiori Launchpad, which I'm going to cover in the next slide. So basically, the user, if they want to use Fiori apps, they just go to this Launchpad and they can view all the applications that they are assigned to, and then they can, execute a particular Fiori app and perform a business transaction. Fiori Launchpad. What is SAP Fiori Launchpad? Fiori Launchpad is one entry point for all the users. Uh, so Fiori Launchpad is a role-based. It's a role-based, personalized, real-time contextual aggregation point for business application and analytics. So Fiori Launchpad provides any end users an entry point for all Fiori applications. um, all the applications are shown as a tile, and these tiles show dynamic, live, real-time application information such as, KPI or a transaction map or a status on the home page. Predefined content and high degree of personalization. So tiles can be selected from catalog and arranged into groups. Search is integrated. It is designed according to simple and intuitive SAP Fiori user experience while supporting established technologies. So your business user now, they don't have to remember transaction names. They don't have to remember which screen they have to go. They don't have to remember which ERP system they have to get the information from. So they just use Fiori Launchpad and then they have everything at a single screen on a single touch. So, what are the different Fiori application types that SAP delivers? So there are three types of Fiori applications that SAP delivers and partners can develop. One, the first one is the transactional type apps. These are task-based apps. Um, so when I say task-based or transaction-based, these are like simple transactions like, create, change, or, entire, process with guided navigation. They represent simplified views and interactions with existing business processes and solutions. They run best on SAP Suite or on HANA database, but they can be ported to other databases with acceptable performance. So, for example, our transactional application could be, creating a leave request for an employee, or creating a sales order, or changing a purchase order, and things like that. Analytical views, analytical applications. Uh, Analytical applications basically can be classified as insight to action. They provide an visual overview of the complex topic for monitoring and tracking purposes or KPIs. These apps let you get a role-based insight into real-time operations of your business by collecting and displaying key figures directly from your browser, within your browser. Analytical apps combine the data and analytical power of HANA with the integration and interface components of SAP Business Suite. They provide information on large volume of data in a simplified front end for enterprise control. With analytical labs, you can basically monitor and track your most important KPIs, and these are all real-time values, so that you can actually react to your current conditions or market conditions. These apps run only on SAP HANA. Fact sheet. These apps display contextual information and key facts about central objects used in business operations. It provides a view on essential information about your objects and also the relation. You can actually perform drill downs to get more details from the fact sheet. You can navigate from one fact sheet to its related fact sheet. For example, if you're looking at, let's say, a document that relates to a business partner, then you can do a drill down to this business partner, and then you can drill down to its master data and find more details. From fact sheet applications, you can actually start transactions by navigating to transactional applications or accessing backend systems directly. For example, you can navigate a document from fact sheet apps to a document in SAP GUI or WebDin Pro. These apps run only on Suite on HANA, so they don't run on SAP Business Suite on traditional database. For certification purposes, right now only transactional type uh, apps can be certified. So if a partner is developing a custom transactional app, then it can be certified. Right now, analytical and fact sheet apps are not in the scope of certification. Now let's go a little bit deep into SAP Fiori architecture. What are the different components and different layers? SAP Fiori, has two main components. One is about front-end server and the back-end server. So your ABAP front-end server or front-end technology um, is used to build your applications with SAP UI5 technology, which is basically HTML5. All your UI artifacts or UI related objects are developed and deployed with ABAP technology. So that means all product Fury app specific UI add-ons are deployed here on the front-end server. And with this, you can support multiple form factors and operating systems with a single code line. And also, it supports multiple, device and platform types. Um, and all Fiori apps are launched via Fiori Launchpad as a UI component, and business data that retrieve, or business data that you expose to your Fury application is done through SAP O Data Services during runtime. So use SAP Gateway for retrieving the data from your backend and exposing to your Fiori apps. So this is, SAP ABAP front-end server in a nutshell. Backend server. So backend server, you can use a business suite running on SAP HANA or business suite running on traditional database, or you can use SAP HANA. So it is possible for you to use SAP delivered APIs or BAPIs within your OData services. For example, if you want to read details of sales or purchase orders, you do have BAPIs that SAP delivers, so you can reuse them. Or if you want to write a more complex logic and a more complex scenario, then you can develop your own custom ABAP functionality and expose it via OData. Similarly, on the Access engine, on SAP HANA Access, use SAP HANA Access engine to expose your HANA functionality. So that means you will develop your HANA app related content on SAP HANA and expose it, or you can develop, a back add-on that is optimized for SAP HANA. Business, as I said, same apps can be used via internet without any local installation. So that means if the users want to access business suite functionality, now they can do it via SAP Fiori apps, and they can do it via HTTPS connectivity, and the login can be achieved via single sign-on and logout via single logout using SAML or SSO cookies. And user and role management between ABAP and HANA is possible with this architecture. Now let's look a little bit into the front-end server, which is actually the core or very important of your Fiori apps. So your front end is basically SAP NetWeaver 740 with Fiori add-on, Fiori UI add-on specific that you have to install. So you have to install UI5 related add-on on the NetWeaver server, and then you can start building your Fiori apps. So this for the Fiori apps, you actually build UI5 application code, and then you also build UI content like SAP Fiori Launchpad integration or application configuration. And apart from this, you actually develop OData services over SAP Gateway and consume these OData services into your Fiori application. And Fiori for this OData services, uh, you are going to read or retrieve data from your SAP backend using any ABAP, standard ABAP API or custom ABAP add-on that you develop. So some of the advantages of using ABAP frontend for the Fiori are like life cycle decoupling of UI apps from the backend. So now you can develop your application without without even modifying any backend part, or without getting any special authorization or additional authorization for developing the Fury apps. You can make changes without making any changes to your backend. And since it is ABAP-based delivery, it enables you to faster release cycles and also allows faster iterations of UI5 development. And also with this, you have a single point of UI maintenance like browser support or UI5 provisioning. So all you do is you make your configurations on the Fiori Launchpad, and this Launchpad can be accessed via, a smartphone or a tablet or a desktop without making any client configuration or client changes. And this is the central place for theming and branding. So you can create the themes and specific brandings for the UI. You make those changes here, and it's applicable to all the devices. and also single point, single place for configuration, personalizing, and Fiori self-services, and the security configurations. I mean, since you are using the gateway, it is easier to, develop application level gateway with protocol switch and whitelisting. And admin for UI metadata does not need admin rights for backend and things like that. Now, let me introduce to SAP Web IDE, which is a new tool that SAP recently released. So, what is SAP Web IDE? So, Web IDE is a web-based tool that intends to simplify the end-to-end application lifecycle development. So that means you can develop prototypes, develop an actual application, package it, and deploy this application on a target system. Plus, you can develop only customer extensions for a UI5 or a Fiori application. It enables developers and business experts and designers to build new user experience with SAP Business Application, and to run your SAP Web IDE, you need either SAP HANA Cloud Platform subscription, or you can uh, 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 run it on HANA Access Engine, which is right now being planned and available soon. And finally, when it is available, it is already available, generally available, and you can start using it. Some of the key capabilities of SAP Web IDE is like drag and drop tools, wizards, and templates for creating and extending Fiori apps and SAP UI5 apps. So this tool is not just limited to SAP Fiori or SAP UI5 apps. Using this tool, you can develop HANA apps, you can develop mobile apps, you can develop any UI5 apps. So you don't have to worry about how to write a code and things like that. So this is a robust code editor with UI5 specific code compilation. And once you develop, a quick app, you can do an instant preview in the browser and mock data support, collaborative tool development, and project persistency is possible with SAP Web IDE. And the best part is it's integrated deployment to SAP platforms. So you develop it on SAP Web IDE and you can deploy it on various SAP platforms. Extensible and modular architecture for adding your own plugins, and it embraces to open source framework. So that means you don't have to worry about any SAP code specific frameworks and things like that. And it's all based on the open source. Benefits: develop once and deploy everywhere and run on multiple devices. Reduces cost, complexity, and effort through cloud-based offering. And also it increases developer productivity by simplifying development to create applications faster. It enables business experts and designers via this highly efficient tool, improves team productivity with the ability to code and collaborate anywhere, and it follows the best practices to rapidly build applications and profit from code templates that are delivered uh, with this Web IDE. So why Web IDE and why now? I mean, if you look at different tools that we have, SAP we were offering in past, I mean, we had so many different tools for developing apps, like App Builder, App Designer, Gateway Productivity, Accelerator, Fiori Toolkit, and whatnot. So it was too confusing for our users to create applications. They were not sure which tool to use and when to use and things like that. So SAP's vision was to come up with one unified tool that can serve all this. So as I said earlier, with SAP Web IDE, you can develop mobile apps, you can develop Fiori apps, you can develop HANA apps, you can develop any UI5 based apps. So it becomes a single tool to develop, apps on multiple platforms. So basically, it's a simplified UI5 development toolkit which supports end-to-end application lifecycle with one tool. So that means you can develop prototypes, you can develop your main application, you can test it on the browser, you can, the advantage is like, if you want to test it on, make a screen, test it on a smaller screen, you have the options to reduce the screen size and test it on a small screen and medium screen and things like that. So it provides you or test capabilities for different platforms and different screen sizes. And once you develop the app, you can package it and deploy it on multiple devices and multiple platforms. And the best part of it is you can extend an application for a particular customer and deliver only those extensions to the customer. So with this, I'm going to jump into SAP Fiori App certification. So first, let's look into what are the deliverables for partner delivered Fiori apps. So as we saw earlier in the SAP Fiori architecture, there are two components, the front-end server and the back-end server. So these are in the scope of certification. So you will have to deliver your front-end server objects, that is your UI artifacts as well as OData services. And if you're developing and delivering custom business suite functionality, then you will have to deliver that as well as part of your Fiori app. So how do we do it? So we deliver a special tool called Add-on Assembly Kit or AAK. You use AAK to package your UI artifacts and then OData services. What are the advantages of using this tool? AAK. First and foremost, this is the tool that SAP uses to deliver its own add-ons, whether it's a Fiori add-on or it is SAP ABAP add-ons or support packages. So you can maintain a delivery strategy similar to SAP's delivery strategy. So you create an initial package, and whenever there are errors and bug fixes, you can deliver support packages to your customers, and customers uses standard transactions like Saint for installing an initial package or SPAM to install support packages. So you use the same, your customers will use the same transactions to install your own UI add-on as well as backend components. And also AAK does many things in the background. It does, what a code inspector does, checking for syntax errors, checking for, customizing data that you are delivering, if there are any inconsistencies, whether you're modifying SAP delivered objects and things like that, and we give you a list of errors that you need to fix. So basically, when you create your package, you can be sure that you're pretty much delivering consistent code and no errors with your code. Then you will have to create a second package for your custom backend functionality if you're delivering. Again, you use AAK for creating the package. Now, what are the other deliverables? Apart from packaging, there are certain things that you have to keep in your mind while delivering. First and foremost is the security and code scans for your virus. Since you're going to package your SAP UI5 code in the ABAP stack, we want to make sure that you are not delivering any vulnerabilities with your UI5 code. So what you have to do is you have to scan your UI5 code with using any of this open uh, uh, any of the virus scan tools, just to make sure there are no vulnerabilities with your UI5. And then also there are strong recommendations that we provide for security measures, like what sort of how you have to implement the SSO, what you need to do, what are the different security measures that you have to implement in your Fiori app. So these are all documented and delivered to you. So you have to follow those recommendations. But for the certification test, we just verify the user authentication during the test. And there's a document that we sent to you called technical product profile document. I'll cover that later. So you will have to fill in that section 5 in that document, where you state that you have read the document and you are not delivering any vulnerabilities. There, you have done all the checks. The other deliverable is the response time KPIs. It's mandatory. There are two KPIs that we measure. For the first one is end-to-end response time, which has to be within 1 second. This one, and then the second KPI we measure is number of O data round trips that you make per transaction. So it is limited to two O data round trips, a maximum of two O data round trips that you can perform for every transaction. Other two optional criteria or deliverables are globalization. So that means we want the app to be supported in multiple regions and multiple languages. So if you're supporting in multiple languages, then appropriate translation must be done. Extensibility, again, it's optional, but strongly recommended. So that means your application must be capable of extending, at a customer for a customer, and you should be following all the extensibility guidelines. Uh, Fiori app certification, what we do. Initially, we had included design review gate, where we plan to do design review for your UI and the product definition, but we have deferred till 2015. So if you're performing this, if you're performing a certification or completing a certification in 2014, then this is not included in the certification scope. Other than this, we do two checks. One is the technical check and functional check. So in technical check, what we do is we do the installation of your add-on package. So why do we do it? So just think of ICC as your first customer. We take your packages and install these packages on a sandbox system, and we do the configuration to make sure it is integrated into SAP Fiori Launchpad, and we make sure the gateway or OData services add-on package is installed, they are properly configured, they connect to appropriate backend system, and we make sure that they verify the registered or development namespace. Once we have this end-to-end connection established, we do a functional spot check and make sure the functionality that you plan to deliver is actually delivered. And finally, we do have a solution manager ready test, where we register your product on our PPMS system. So for this, you have to fill in a document and send it across to us. In terms of documentation, there are two documents that you fill in for the design review. One is the app template documentation and product definition template document, which talks more about the UI aspects of your app and a little bit more about functionality of your Fiori application. Um, Then for the certification test, there's a technical product profile document that you fill in which you provide the technical details of your application or technical implementation of your application, like what are the different APIs you're calling, what are the different APIs you're delivering, what are the different OData services you're delivering, what's your namespace, and things like that. Then we send a second document called PPMS document, in which you just mention the product name, the software component, and things like that. And it's a pretty simple and straightforward document. Other than this, there are other documents that you will have to fill up. We don't have any specific template, or we don't have any specific, uh, format for it. You can use your own format for, creating the installation documents, config documents, and end user documents, which we verify during the certification test. Other than this, some of the things that you have to keep in mind for before developing a Fiori app. Well, the first one is the material number. Um, if you know a little bit about SAP's, ERP master data, material master data, it's only 18 character long. But some of the customers, they use 40 character long material number to make sure that you follow you fulfill this requirement. SAP now allows you to use 40 character long material number. You have to just make sure switch this functionality in SAP ERP, and if you're using SAP material number, then make sure you make the switch and also support 40 character long material number. Extensions to SAP Fiori apps. It is possible to extend SAP delivered Fiori apps, and that means you can develop extensions to the UI layer, OData services, and associated backend add-on. But for now, we are not including extension certification. So that means when you develop an extension, unfortunately, we cannot certify. We are still working with the respective teams to have guidelines for certifying Fury app extensions. As and when these are available, we will let you know. Until then, we cannot certify any Fury extensions. Reusing SAP delivered objects, again, this is not allowed. So that means you cannot reuse OData services that are delivered by SAP and the backend add-on that are delivered by SAP for its own Fiori app. And you have to sign off a section in technical product profile document where you state that you're neither reusing, neither you're using OData services or backend add-on. The reason is SAP frequently updates OData services and the backend add-ons, so that they are more consistent and more mature and based on customer requirements and customer errors. These services or backend add-ons are updated frequently, and if you are using these, then your apps might run into issues whenever they are updated. Um, Finally, on the fees and the branding, each Fiori app costs 2,500 euros for application, and it includes delivery of AAK and a certification test. Each Fiori app has a validity of 1 year, and we also invite you to the private jam group where you can collaborate with SAP teams, various SAP teams, and other partners who are developing Fury apps. And finally, a press release review. Once you complete your certification, you can actually have a press release for your certification, and you can forward this press release to us. We will get this reviewed by our global communication and marketing team, just to make sure you're using the branding correctly, you're using correct terminology and things like that. So this is also included in your certification fee. Finally, to sign up, either you can contact one of our colleagues based on the region who are listed here: Alejandro Barajas for Americas, Shmaila Salim for EMEA, and Kaveri NP for APAC region. or you can actually send us an email on to icc@sap.com. The branding, so once you complete certification, you get either SAP certified integration with SAP application for integrations with traditional business suite with traditional database, or you get SAP certified integration with application on SAP HANA, which means you are certifying your Fiori app on business suite on HANA. Uh, Two important links. One, on the SN page, we have already more details on the SN page regarding the bottom build Fiori app certification, and also the link to JAM page. Once you sign up for certification, we can actually invite you to this JAM page, and then you can uh, collaborate with other colleagues. One of the things that I didn't list as benefit is we are planning to, have frequent sort of webinars or user information on the web IDE part, web IDE tool. So once you are signed up for Fiori app certifications, we can invite you to this, expert sessions hosted by our SAP Web IDE team, who will talk more about the tool, give you hands-on demo of how to create a Fiori app or how to create other apps using Web IDE. So yeah, once you sign up, we will offer you that as well, where you can have a chance to discuss with the SAP Web IDE product management teams. So, with that, I conclude my presentation on partner built Fiori apps. So, if you have questions, please do ask now, or you can reach to us at icc@sap.com. Thank you for your time and thanks for your interest. Operator, we are now done with the presentation.